Morning all. Thank you for joining me in another of my monologues this morning from the studio. Now, we are going to be just promoting for a while the Food Finders Hub, because food, as you know, is very important. More and more people are now beginning to realise what is going on in this world in which the supermarkets are selling all this food that is, well, they call it food, that is nutrient-free and vitamin deficient. Food that also has mysterious stuff sprayed on it. And so what we're trying to say to people is be very careful what you eat. And why wouldn't you be? Because it's going to change your metaphysical body, or your physical body, maybe your metaphysical body at the same time. Who knows? I don't understand what I'm talking about, but never mind. The point is, there is the Food Finders Hub set up by the lovely bowler hat farmer. And let's have a quick look at it. Here it is, the Food Finders Hub. And we're going to promote a few of the people that are on it. And we would like to say to you guys, if you run a business, if you are in anything to do with the foodie industry, if you're a farmer, if you're an outlet of food like a farm shop or a market stall holder that sells quality food that doesn't have all that rather nonsense stuff that they're spraying and putting onto the food, then do support the website. It's foodfindershub.co.uk. The link will be in the description. And as a sort of kick-off to get people interested and fascinated in using this resource, I thought it would be quite fun to just pick at random one of the different places on there so that you can go, oh, that's actually quite near me, or that sounds like the sort of thing I'd like to do, or it is what I'm doing, I must get myself on the Food Finders Hub. So here is Tablehurst Farm in Forest Row in East Sussex. And that is on the Food Finders Hub. And they are, it says, a biodynamic community farm, organic vegetables and fruit. There's a butcher on site, top quality milk, meat, raw milk, farm shop, bread made on site with their own milled flour. Sounds like a great place to go and visit, if you ask me. There's a cafe there, and they do events. And they are at the Tablehurst Farm in London Road in Forest Row in East Sussex. And it's all on there. I'll leave a link to that in the description should you wish to go there. Now, more worrying, somebody sent me this. Now, this is a website that's in America and talking about American foods, but they are doing a similar thing over here as far as I know. Let's have a look. It says here, what you need to know. This is, what is the website? Ethical Food, Sustainable Local Humane Food. It says what you need to know about chemicals sprayed on produce after harvest. This is the sort of stuff that ends up in the supermarkets, because the small producers are not doing this. You see, they have no need to, because they are farming locally and seasonally and getting the stuff out to whichever outlet it is. But when you've got a supermarket, of course, it's a very different story, because they take it in vast quantities, they store it in their fridges, and they need ways to make these fruit and veg last a lot longer, because they could be coming from miles. And is it edible, and is it sensible to eat those sort of things? Well, here we go. Are chemicals added to fresh fruits and vegetables? Are they, first of all saying, are they added? Well, we know it says that processed foods often contain a host of unhealthy additives, from fake flavours and colours to chemical preservatives. What you don't know is that sometimes chemicals are added to fresh produce after it's picked, before it gets to the grocery store. Now, admittedly, this is not really new news, but it is worth being aware of it. And I can see the comments already saying, well, we know all this, Richard. But yes, but do you know what the chemicals are, and are they safe? And do you really need to have any chemicals on your food? I mean, you know, these nasty, weird sounding chemicals. Well, let's have a little look at some of them, shall we? So it goes on. Here's some of the chemicals. Now, I can't even pronounce these things. I would let alone want to eat them. So there's something called sodium orthophenylphenate or something, SOP for short. It's a fungicide which prevents or decays the appearance of rota and molds on produce. And then there's thiabenzazole, which is TBZ. How it's used: this is used as a fungicide to control green mold, blue mold, stem end rot on citrus fruits. It controls the Cirroscoportha leaf. I mean, this is amusing, isn't it? Just hearing me say these words. Spots on sugar beets. Crown rot on bananas, blue mold rot, blue eye rot, all these different moldy things. And you wonder yourself, why is the mold there in the first place? If you're growing this organically and as freshly as you can, and you pick it and in the right season, and you take it only a few meters to the place where it's being sold, surely all of those things are not there. But it's when you bunch them all together, they're all in a big basket, and they stay in that basket, and they travel across different continents, different air styles, or whatever it is. All this stuff is going to happen, isn't it? I mean, it stands to reason. Then there's things like sodium hypochlorite. This is an active ingredient that most liquid household bleaches. What? Sodium hypochlorite is commonly used when the scale of the post-harvest chlorination is limited. It's used in post-harvest management as in an algicide, a disinfectant and sanitizer. Who wants that on their food? Please tell me. Now, as I say, not all of this will be happening over here in the UK, but it's happening in America. It may be happening in other places around the world. Be interested to know if there are more of this going on. Then there's this malec something hydrocide. I mean, these are just horrible sounding names. Compound is used to inhibit sprouting in potatoes, onions, carrots in storage, to induce dormancy in citrus fruits. What are those chemicals doing to the person who's eaten them? Then there's sulfuryl fluoride. If it's got fluoride in it, I don't want to touch it, thanks very much. And then it talks about what happened in January 2011. The EPA, prompted by a group petition from the Fluoride Action Network, and so on, proposed to phase out this horrible thing. The Pest-Free Food Supply Act seems to prevent the proposed phase-out of this product taking effect. It's used to fumigate, applied to stored crops after harvest, leaving significant amounts of fluoride on treated foods. So, and anyway, this article goes on and on and on about it, and dangers of non-stick cookware. It talks about avoiding toxic chemicals that clean your kitchen, evaluating eco-trash bags, plastic-free alternatives to zip storage, because, of course, you're getting microplastics in everything. Organic baby food, is it worth... Anyway, it goes on and on and on, and it just turns out that everything that we've been doing in the last 100 years or so with all this modern technology just seems to be working against us, and we're now beginning to realise that, thankfully. And actually, when you think about it, what we really need, it's so obvious, is we need to make that step back. And I know nostalgia can be seen as a backward step, looking through life at rose-tinted glasses, but taking the good things from the past and saying, look, we've engineered things here. We've industrialized food, which should be grown around us. This is what we used to do. This is all we used to do, was to go out and concentrate about providing the sustenance to keep us alive. Now, of course, we've improved, and we've got other things that we like to do, like sitting in front of screens and playing computer games, or earning vast sums of money so we can buy big cars or helicopters or private jets and things like that, having swimming pools in the garden full of chemicals. But actually, what we should be concentrating on is our life preservation, which comes from growing proper, organic, healthy food, not in environments where they're spraying the skies, thank you very much, or they're poisoning the water, or EMFs are sort of destroying our brains. We need more farmers, and we need more food, locally grown and seasonally grown, and so they're not too far away. And these lovely local producers that we find on places like the Food Finders Hub, which is now being set up and growing every day, is the solution to the problem of supermarkets, because supermarkets are trying to be that one stop for all. And I can understand in the early days of a supermarket it was probably a good idea. Now they're getting a little bit more sinister. Sainsbury's have got a plan to grow their own synthetic foods, all robotically controlled, foods that are full of chemicals, because they see the problem of farmers is farmers are people who want to grow food properly and sensibly and provide people with something healthy. But the supermarkets are going, yes, but that is not helping us make a vast profit. and bleaching everything so that there's no goodness in it and it's full of chemicals, and it doesn't give us the amount of money that we want. And we want to be able to have it in vast stocks, and we don't want people in the way. Goodness, I mean, have you noticed they're trying to get rid of people in the supermarkets? This is a ridiculous notion, absolutely ridiculous. We need to go back to some sense of humanity in this world in which food and people are connected. The people that grow the food have love and intention and good vibrations as they grow their food, and that food carries that good intention and vibration in so that it keeps people healthy. When we turn into a sterile life with these awful boxes, colourful, bold colours, and in cardboard with glossy finishes that you stick into a microwave and nuke every last ounce of good intention out of it, then you're asking for trouble. And we're seeing the hospitals full of people who are ill at the moment. Why is that? Are they not eating healthily? Are they taking certain medical interventions when they don't need to, when they should be out in the full sunshine that has been denied us because of the myth of global warming, all of that nonsense? We need to push back, definitely, against all that rubbish and get back to a much more wholesome way of life in which we, the people, have respect for each other and the food that we eat. So go and check out the Food Finders Hub. I'll leave a link in the description. Support it, get on board, and we'll see you there.